Yo, what's going on, guys? Gonna run through a quick trade review from AMD today. So just one trade. Gonna run through the time frames, a little bit about QQQ, etc. So first off the bat, I just want to kind of build you guys a thought process coming into the day, in even just for this week coming up. So, or for like Thursday, Friday. Today's Wednesday the 12th. So coming into today, you can see we are basically smack dab in the middle of basically your major pivot high and low. We did kind of form a double bottom here, but then again, we still are in the middle of this range until we break out into your 627, I believe, which is essentially your previous pivot highs from right here. It's going to be a little bit tougher to long. Also kind of coincides with some lows, so this is a pretty key important level, as well as some old all-time highs slash lows from this week. So basically, until we break and hold below here, not really too open to shorts, and until we get above here, not really too open to long. So kind of playing both sides at the moment, middle of the range, middle of these two specific levels as well. So a little bit tougher, but today I'm going to run through a little bit of a AMD recap here. So why am I trading AMD? Why am I looking at AMD? Well, first off, in the pre-market, we have already gapped up above your previous day high, which is a good sign. Also, you were kind of forming this head and shoulders pattern back up into basically your major range up into here. So my key level was actually the 30th lows. That is the point where I want to break above to then take longs. You can see overall, if we close below this, we have a pretty big move to the downside, right? This was like kind of your earnings move. Earnings reversal play too. A little bit of a choppier sessions, or a little bit of choppier sessions in terms of basically your Tuesday to Thursday of last week. As soon as we reclaim back up into here, I'm more likely to take longs because we're nearing your all-time highs. And realistically, your next target is going to be some of these pivot highs over here. So have some of these as your key take profit levels. We've already taken out all the lows over here, so now we're going to come back, take out some of the highs. Kind of look at it as like a liquidity grab. Also, kind of have this head and shoulders pattern forming into pre-market, so that's also, it's also pretty solid. Realistically, the biggest key point was your 252, 36, 253s pretty much. That is the main idea. As soon as we get above there, probably be able to take some long side trades. As well, if I run through the low time frames, we will have some more context, but I also wanted through some of the other names because I took this trade not only because of that, but also based off relative strength, right? So let's just run through some of these other tickers real quick, and you know, maybe even QQQ. We'll start off with QQQ. QQQ opening print below your opening print. Didn't even get close to reclaiming that. Google, similar idea. Opening print up here. We were just downtrending all day. Apple, I think this is pretty self-explanatory. We got pretty close to it until like 10:40, 11, but we're not really trading into then. Nvidia, same idea. Tesla, same idea. Palantir, same idea. This is somebody else's trade. Banger trade, by the way. Reviewed that earlier today in the coaching. Anyways, and then you look at AMD. So AMD, opening print right here, we reclaimed it pretty fast. It bounced faster than a lot of the other names, and right off market open, we had a pretty good push to the upside. So very, very clear that something's going on with AMD. Clearly, buyers want to, you know, hold AMD above this key level. You see this massive wick, even on the 1 minute. Clearly, maybe the 250 is like a keyhole psych number, and buyers wanted to hold it above there as well. That's also another kind of confluence, I guess you could say. So as soon as it reclaimed, there was potentially a few trades. Realistically, my favorite is when you are trading basically the high of day. So let's say you open up right here, make a high, pull back, another high, boom, this is your retest. These are going to be the best trades. It's a little bit tougher to take the reclaim trades, in my opinion. So let's just say you have some uptrend, break below, and then you reclaim some of these levels. They're a little bit less probable in my eyes. They're a little bit harder and trickier to spot they're a little bit more context based. So what I like to do is I just like to take trades off of the previous high of day, or sorry, not previous highs of day, I guess the highs of days of this session. So that being said, what I wanted to see was a break of the high of day. These are going to be the best trades based on QQQ, based on relative strength, right? It's going to be a little bit tougher because everything is downtrending. I'm fighting the trend in this case in terms of the overall markets, right? A lot of the names that we do normally trade. So going to be a little bit more patient, wait for a clear setup, wait for a clear move to the upside, a clear high of day. And when it comes down to the actual entry, this was pretty simple. I mean, it was just literally the previous high. So this is the point of most resistance intraday, right? Just a wick to body, same as we draw key levels. You could have it literally as just a line too. Either one works, right? I like to draw zones just to give me a bigger picture, better idea, because this is where most of the sellers are sitting. Most of the resistance is right here. So when it flips, where are most of the buyers going to be trying to hold it up? Inside of here. Whole idea behind this. Support turns into, resistance turns into support. So as price came back down, we had a good, decent gap to pull back into from the previous candle. We had one candle of displacement right here. Single pull back into it. So technically retest candle pull back. Notice it didn't close below the key level, right? It didn't close below it. It closed into it a little bit, which is fine. Typically maybe this would be a little bit better, but this is like, candle's not forming below it. Same thing with the green hammer candle, right? This is pretty much one of the best signs, right? You can see hammer candle. Guess it actually looks something like this. And then as this next candle is forming for the breakout, it's typically your entry, right? Low time frame breakout. So into here, right? As soon as it closes, or as soon as it starts forming above, typically 30-45 seconds is good. Sometimes you don't want to wait that long. Sometimes it makes more sense, maybe in these market conditions. So that being said, my high of day was like 0.5 R at this point. It's a little bit aggressive of a setup. Risk just below the key level right here. Risk just below there, the one where the sellers are. So I just took my first scale at 1.5 R. If you guys know me, you guys have been in my coaching sessions. 1.5 is a minimum for me to keep my win rate and my risk to reward to make sense, to be profitable. After that, so I took one scale. I took 70% today. Generally speaking, I think a little bit less than that is ideal, 60-ish. More than half your position for sure still. But today, with Qs just ranging, AMD going against overall trend, I thought it was appropriate to take off 70% into this level. And then the only other scale I got off was another 10% up into this 1031 candle. So got the 2R and 80% out. So typically at 2R and high of day, you want 80% of your position gone. That's my ideal situation. So did that. I actually ended up cutting the trade as soon as it closed below here, but also the contracts were break even. So it's kind of like a double whammy there. So structure technically broke here. High, low, high, low, high, low, high. Break a structure right here. Right. Last pivot low right here. Contracts are around break even as well. So that is where I cut the trade, 1052. Overall, really decent trade. I wouldn't say that there's anything necessarily bad. Wouldn't say that it was a perfect setup. Typically, I like a little more displacement. Typically, I like another candle to form at this level. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to drop the link in the description for the coaching sessions if you guys do want to join. I know in the YouTube, some people were asking about if I have my own sessions. Like, technically speaking, yes. If you are a part of Traders Lab, then you guys are booking the one-to-ones with me. If you guys want to join the sessions from YouTube, that's cool too. I will drop the link as well for Traders Lab in the description if you guys are curious about it. I know a lot of you guys joined the accelerator. The Traders Lab is where we dive a little deeper. We do coaching with like Tony and Jack. We do one-to-one stuff with me. You guys got the inner team. So if you guys are curious, and you do want to check it out, we do have a few application spots open. We don't have a ton, so if you're not super into it, then that's cool. But if you are genuinely interested in it, feel free to check it out, or just send me a message about it if you guys are in the Discord. Aside from that, I'll probably jump out. Thanks you guys for listening. Hopefully this trade review was solid and it makes sense. I think it was pretty straightforward for the most part. And yeah, I will catch you guys in the coaching or even in the Traders Lab. All right, see you guys.